You're watching The Edward Fowler Show. Now, here's your host, Edward Fowler.
And a very good evening to everyone watching on youtube.com/Edward Fowler. We're live tonight with a great guest as we've got on the show, and it's a privilege to have on this person because I wasn't sure when I reached out to this particular person if they would actually receive my email, because I'm always hesitant when it's a Gmail email. So I'm always hesitant because sometimes I feel like, do they actually monitor that one, or do they have a proper one? But no, it's an absolute pleasure to have this particular guest on the show, and the second female to come on the show this year, because I'm not a guest. I'm not offending any females on the show. It is that I can never find any ones who would accept to come on the show. I reached out to many different people. I can never...
It's one of them, isn't it? I think some people obviously like their emails get clogged up, but I'll always sift through, and anything I can do, like, of course I'm always there. So
yeah, no, absolutely. But yeah, so I do appreciate for you for sending the invitation this evening. I know you are on your screen now. I'm hoping I pronounced this correctly. Livvy K.
Yes, exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah, thanks for clarifying.
well, I did a bit of practicing before I went live tonight, thinking I'm hoping I pronounced this correctly, because I don't want to offend my guests.
You'll be glad to know it's not my last name, because you definitely would have butchered that.
Oh, yes, I know.
That's why I keep it short to just the K, because my last name.
Yeah, I don't blame you for that, because I know I will probably get it wrong, not because of me being an absolute idiot, but because of I have a condition called verbal dyspraxia, so I can say it in my head, but it doesn't come out correctly out my mouth. So
is it dyspraxia?
Yeah, verbal dyspraxia. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have dyslexia, so sometimes when I'm reading, sometimes I have to like double check things. And also with the fact that I do hosting and entertaining as well, sometimes people write their names down, and then I've got to say it on stage, and no one's told me how to pronounce it, and I'm like, like, that's not how you say my name, and I'm like, look, guys, I love you, but if you don't tell me how to say your name, because do you know what I mean? Like, sometimes it's pronounced differently if it's from maybe like a different language or stuff like that. So yeah, sometimes you get it wrong, but as long as you get it right the second time, then it's fine.
It is. But that must be quite a terrifying experience, having lots of people out in front of you, and then when something like that happens, they're like, oh, what's going to be the reaction in the audience as well?
You know what's so funny? I recently hosted a Pirate Studios open mic night, actually in Salford, and it was amazing. There were so many talented people, and it was my first time like hosting on my own. So obviously I do music and I'm within the music culture within Manchester. So this was my first time like being able to not be an artist, but like use my artist side of me to kind of bring out more talent in Manchester that hasn't necessarily had the chance to kind of shine yet. So it was kind of like an open mic. Anybody can get up. It doesn't matter, whether you've performed before, whether you've sung in front of anyone before. It's just kind of like get up and, do your thing. But that was the most nerve-wracking part for me, was like, because there's like 20 people on the list and everyone signs up and I don't know anybody. So, and obviously me, like, I'm such one of them people, like, I hate getting people's name wrong. Like, I'll always, if I meet new people, I'll like find a way. I don't know if you do the same thing, but I'll relate it to something that I'll remember. Like if it's like Pete, for example, I'll try and like find a family member that's called Pete and kind of like, do you know what I mean? Like find something that's close to home so that I won't forget it. But sometimes the artist names obviously don't make sense all the time, because it can just like anything random. It doesn't have to make sense. So sometimes you're just like, what am I saying?
We do have Jamie, who's a regular on this channel, in the chat room. He says he loves your music. He obviously seen the teasers I've been posting on Instagram of some of your tracks which you've released, and I'm a fan of your music as well. Because when I came across your work and when I heard some of your music, I thought, yes, I definitely want to have you on the show, because I think you are something unique. I think the tracks you've released are fun and very much you can vibe to as well, but sing along to as well.
Yeah, I think like this is the first time releasing music for myself, so it was like a really nerve-wracking and also tedious process, because obviously there's that like middle part of where like music's supposed to be fun, but it's also really hard work.
Yes.
Everyone's like, music's just meant to be fun. Like if it feels like hard work, you shouldn't be doing it, but like that's not realistic.
No.
because most of the time every artist starts out independent and you have got to do all the heavy lifting yourself. So I do think like as much as it is fun, you've got to really love it to do it at this time because I mean, music in the 70s, 80s was a completely different time than what it is now. You know, like if you want to be a music artist, you've got to love being in front of camera, being on TikTok, being on Instagram, doing all of this stuff because you can't be an artist if you're not doing that.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, it was a really exciting process. And when it came out in February, I was both relieved and excited. I was like, oh, thank God it's out. Now I can sit back and relax. But that is not what I did. Obviously, once you put a body of work out, it's then like, what's next? Do you know what I mean?
It is. It's exactly right. And I guess that's one of the questions I want to ask you is what is next for you? But before you answer that, I do want to say as well that before I found out that that was your first time releasing music, I thought that you were, I guess, an expert because of the way it came across. You come across
Definitely
very,
not an expert.
it comes across very professional. It comes across like you've been doing this for years, you know, typing of releasing music, great music, I
Yeah,
could say.
I had
And
when I was like 16, I've always done music. So like I was a dancer for quite a few years. I did musical theatre training. I was like semi-professional dancer. I did dance competitions all across the world, Romania, Paris, everywhere. So like very used to being on stage and singing in front of an audience. So I guess that kind of helps because you kind of get that them nerves out of the way because like do you know what I mean from an early age it just seems so normal that you don't really get that nervous anymore because you're just kind of used to it.
hmm,
um but yeah, it was definitely like I've definitely spent a lot of time like learning different things that come with music, but I still have so much to learn. Like even the more I get into the industry, I realize just how green I am. But obviously that's like the beauty of it all, isn't it? Really like being so raw and having the ability to like kind of steer into like, oh, well, I don't know a lot about this, so I'll learn about that. Or, oh, actually, like I've been in conversations sometimes where I'm like, I feel a bit out of my depth here. And I'm like, I
yeah.
don't want to feel like I don't know where I am right now. So, do you know what I mean? Like, I always want to make sure that I know what I'm talking about when I'm in certain rooms. So that's always like a good like kind of what's the word like inspiration to go away and learn more about music and everything else that comes with it, I guess.
Yes, well, that's my impression from an outside looking in, because from
I guess
how
that's a
you've
good
delivered it.
that's a good first impression, so
Yes,
I'll take
yes,
that.
yes. It's a take it as a compliment because it's a compliment, and I feel like, we. So if that's your first, I can't wait to see where you'll be like in a few months' time, or when
No
you release the
pressure.
next time, because I'm sure it'll be even better.
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, I guess it's just to continue just making music that I'm proud of.
Yeah,
Because I guess there's always that like because I love so many different things because I'm such a broad creative. Like I love music, I love dance, I love acting, I love modeling, I love fashion, all of that stuff. So I'm so passionate about a lot of things that I've got to like always bring it back to, do I like it? Would I listen to it? If that is the case and it is a yes and it would be on my playlist, then I'll put it out. But yeah, that's why usually they're like little catchy little vibes because that's kind of what I listen to, I guess.
no, I think it's good. I think it's great, and you're sharing it with your fans, and your fans are enjoying it as well. And we're gonna show the picture in just a moment of your, I guess, debut album. I mean EP, but it's been out for a few months now, and I'm sure the reaction so far has been hopefully all positive, and I'm hoping that they want more from you. Just
You know what, Edward? I actually wouldn't mind some negative because I think that like sometimes we need that because I like obviously the people that listen to my music, at the moment I would say I have like a smaller fan base, but like most of the people that listen to my music either know me or know of me through like the music
yeah,
industry or through like meeting me at events or like just from Instagram or seeing me perform. So obviously I perform like pretty much twice a week consistently. I worked it out the other day. I've probably done over 450 gigs in the last couple of years. So I guess like when you're doing that many gigs, you meet that many new people that they automatically become in brackets fans, but they have also met me. So they're
yeah.
more like it's more that personal experience. But yeah, it's I guess it's just getting the music out there and letting people kind of vibe with it and then building a bigger fan base. And yeah, I guess that's kind of the goal, isn't it, really?
Yes, because you do have over 4,000, almost 4,500 Facebook likes or followers on Facebook.
Oh, Edward, I'll be honest, I'm not very good on Facebook.
I don't know. I think you're doing quite good. You're doing better than me.
I'm more of an Instagram girl than I am a TikTok or a Facebook. I need to become a TikTok girl because then I will grow my fan base.
Well, I mean, on Instagram, you got loads of followers. You got like 8,000 followers, I think. So that's a very impressive following, by the way.
And you know what? I know obviously I've worked. I say obviously you don't really know me like that, but I worked in social media for a little while, working for a company rather than like personal.
Yeah.
So I know like quite a lot of people, buy followers and this, that, the other, but I've always believed in building an organic fan base because it's better to have 6,000 followers that are actually buying your music or actually coming to your gigs.
Yeah.
And that was very prevalent when I did my first little EP launch event in Manchester. And literally within like 3 days, like there was like 50 tickets available and it sold out in literally 3 days. Which I literally didn't even expect that at all. Like I was expecting like 20 people, most of them being family.
Yeah.
And then when I like put it out, because I was just kind of like, just to get a vibe of whether anyone would even turn up. In all honesty, because there's always that, I guess there's always that, like, as an artist, there's always the, oh, but what if? Do you know what I mean? So it was kind of more like to keep a number of heads, but also to see like what the reaction would be to me hosting like my own, thing around me and my music, and the response was really good. So I guess I was really surprised by that, but I was also like solidified. I was like, actually, okay, like what I'm doing is working. You know what I mean? Because people want to show up and support, and it's not you that gets you to where you go, and it's the people around you, isn't it? I guess.
Exactly. Now I know yesterday you did post some exciting news I saw on your Instagram. Before we talk about Family Free. Before we talk about that, I just want to know about this exciting news because I know it's very fresh. So
my new website, is that what
yeah.
Well, I guess I had a little website before, but it wasn't as good as the one that I did the other day. But yeah, I literally just did it myself. I guess like that's kind of the same thing with every artist. It's a do-it-yourself industry. If you're not doing it yourself, then you have to pay someone to do it, or you have to peck someone's head to do it for you if they want to work with you. But I'm a strong believer in you get what you pay for. Do you know what I mean? If you are going to go down that route, then definitely, like the people around you, even if they are your friends, if you've got people that do photography or design or graphic design, making sure like you're paying your people. But also sometimes cost of living crisis. That's what I call it, cost of living crisis. Sometimes you got to do it yourself. So the website was a kind of one of those situations where I was like, I've got to do it myself and kind of make it creative, but also it is a representation of me. So who knows me better than me?
Exactly, but you've done a fantastic job.
My mum, that's
yes.
the only person.
Yes.
my mum and my dad know me better than myself.
I have to say, because your website is very, it's very polished, very professional, and I've just shot off to my viewers as well so they can get an insight on what your website is all about. So
any feedback, greatly appreciated.
Yeah, just reach out to Livvy on social media, which you will promote shortly. But let's talk about Family Free, Family Me. I love the title of that EP, and your debut. It came out earlier this year. I know you mentioned a few minutes ago about how you were, and sometimes it's good to get negative feedback. You just mentioned a few moments ago, but how did you come up with the title of this particular EP? Because it's unique, it's different for sure, in a good way, not a bad way.
Yeah.
But I just want to know what was the creative thinking behind that.
So, funnily enough, I actually had the title of the EP before I'd made any of the music. So, I guess you could say the title of the EP inspired the music. It's usually, I guess it kind of depends, but usually it works the opposite way. You have tracks and then you kind of compile them and say, okay, what is this about, this compilation of music? But for me, it was kind of like I wanted this music to represent where I was and where I've been, and kind of be a representation of like that space in between of like where I was when I first kind of got introduced to music, all the things that I kind of went through within my first taste of the music industry, to then not doing music for like a year and a bit in between, to then now being in music. And also, not all of it was about music, it was about, life experiences, love, and living in this internet world that we live in. It's all this, all of those kind of things. But it was kind of like, I guess, self-expression. It's like finally free, finally me. Like I don't have to answer to anyone. I can just do whatever I want. I'm a female artist, independent. I'm just doing my thing. Do you know what I mean? And that's me. Like
Yeah.
I'm me. So, and I don't have to answer to anyone, I guess, is the kind of like the whole point around it, I guess, is like be yourself. And that's the most freeing thing, is just being yourself and being so comfortable with yourself that, yeah, I guess that's kind of the point, really.
Yeah, no, I get that. I believe as well, I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, then I will apologise and I will correct it after this live stream. But
I'm wrong times, Edward. Don't tell my boyfriend that though.
well, what I was going to say was, I'm hoping I've done this correctly, but you should have got a notification from me saying that I've tagged you on YouTube, because I'm hoping this is correct. So that I've hopefully, you can tag me off now if I've not done that, and I will definitely do it. There should be a link to your channel from my description for any of my viewers wanting to check out your work so far, and hopefully become a new fan of yours as well. So there's a link hopefully in my description below where people can click on that straight to your channel, and they can check out your content there. If I've not done that, then I will do that, but I'm pretty sure, I'm usually very good at this, so I'm just going to do a little check myself somehow.
You're definitely better than me at whatever technology you're doing, because I'm not a very techno girl.
Well, I think I've just realised I've not actually done that. So I thought I have. I did double check, but I can't see it. So
the job you're doing it and not me. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I'm just gonna see. Let me do it, because sometimes let me do it, but let's have a look. It might be because it didn't.
Tech hates me, so just don't talk to me and you'll be fine.
But I mean, as well, is there? Because a lot of people I've had on the show as well, because you're not just you do music, and you mentioned about with your EP that you're being more of your authentic self, and I think that's why people are drawn towards you, because they can feel a real connection with you, and I feel like you are 100% personal, and you are able to get that spark from you with other people to relate to the type of content you're posting, if that's music or whatever else you might be doing in your day-to-day life. And I feel like as well that's probably helped you in other venues, in other genres, like with presenting or doing, I guess, content creating, for instance. So you got different avenues where you can go into, which is very exciting, I have to say. And is there any particular goals you have for this year which you are hoping to accomplish in those other venues, or?
Yeah, so I mean, like you say, everything kind of helps each other. Everything that's creative is combined. I think I was working on an R&B project with a company called Create and Vision, and they're doing like a R&B writing camp at the moment in Manchester. And so they are kind of bringing together creative people, helping like get artists feedback from like people within the industry, speaking to a few like famous people as well that are already in the industry, and getting like picking their brains about all things music. And yeah, I was actually speaking to Livvy K. He's done loads. He's worked with amazing people. He's got his own music. He's an incredible artist. And I kind of asked him the same question. I was like, this hosting thing, all the presenting and social media, like, should I be focusing on music? And I guess like I already had an answer to the question in my head, but it's nice to hear it from someone else.
Yes.
It's like all these things, all these things do add up. And like I say, working with Pirate, or I've done content for Dyson, I've worked with Boohoo, Pretty Little Thing, working with all these different people. Obviously, you meet great people along the way, and they won't forget who you are, and I won't forget who they are. So if there's ever any opportunity for me to put someone else on, then that's always the first thing that I will do, and vice versa. So they definitely help each other 1,000,000,000%. And I guess as far as goals for this year, definitely want to release more music. I'm gonna try to release in June, July. My June is my birthday month, so
Oh,
I love to release in specific times. Obviously, my EP came out on Valentine's Day,
perfect
so
timing.
yeah. So maybe a tune on my birthday. We'll see.
Well, speaking of which, if you don't mind me asking, when in June is your birthday? Because my birthday is also in June as well.
Is it
Yes.
the 9th?
The 9th for you, okay? I'm just a bit after you. I'm the 18th.
Oh, yeah, so you're not too far.
Yeah, not
So
too
you're a
far.
June baby. We get the summer. We get the best
Yes.
of the weather.
So yeah, so
It has
so
been really nice weather recently. So
it has, hasn't it? Especially in Manchester, where it's usually always, miserable and not so lovely.
exactly.
But yeah,
Couldn't
we
believe I
do.
got a tan in Salford.
There
What?
you go. There you go. Right behind me, somewhere back behind me, somewhere.
Yeah. Need to change the green screen to daytime.
I
So you
know, I know. Well, the
can.
funny thing is, I don't have one for daytime. I got one for like evening-ish
No.
before the sunset. But yeah, I do need to get one for daylight. But definitely,
As much as I
I
hate to say it, AI.
agree.
AI.
Yeah, yeah.
AI.
I'll look into that. But I mean, are you speaking of AI? Good point to bring up.
I thought you might go there.
Well, now.
Go for it.
But speaking of AI though, I mean, are you a bit scared that it might take over the music industry and maybe wipe out artists as good as yourself?
No. I don't think it's as much as I think AI is I feel like it's listening to me. Why do I feel like it's listening to me? I've got like two Alexas in the house. It's gonna be like chatting to me later, being like, I heard what you said. Um, no, I think as obviously as intelligent as it's been made to be and as amazing as it is for certain aspects, I don't think you can get the emotion of a vocalist on a track when it is personal to them. I don't think you can imitate that. And I think that's why people relate to music so much because they can feel it. And that's the main thing that people listen to music for is a feeling to either feel like someone else is going through the same thing or feel the opposite or feel like they can relate to somebody and they're not like on their own or even the opposite way and feeling happy and it's all those emotions feeling sad music covers everything and I think unless it comes from a person then you're not going to get the same feeling from something that's AI generated, even though it can lyrically make perfect sense
Yeah.
to give you all the emotions that you need, whether it be happy or sad. I don't think you can get that emotion from it. Like it's all the little inflections in your voice, the little vocal cracks, the little things here and there. And I do think there will be a time where, well, I mean, even now, you do have to say if the song is AI generated, and people who really love music won't be listening to AI generated music because they're music lovers that they're just built different. And I
Yeah.
think even in brackets, I guess the general public, as far as like people who aren't in the music industry,
Like me.
yeah, I guess you would listen to AI generated music, but you would listen to it with a skewed view, like because you wouldn't think of it as an artist singing it, you would think of it, this is AI.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I don't think it will ever take over. I do think it will coexist, but I don't think it'll ever take over like the actual like nitty gritty music scene.
Mm, No, I get that. Completely agree with that. Talk to me about, of course, you also, do a bit of performing live as well with music and with presenting, as we talked about like a bit earlier. Do you? I guess is there a time when you maybe get nervous nowadays, or have you gotten used to the performing side of things in front of the audience, or does it do you a bit of nerves every now and then?
Do you
And
know
if
what?
so, how do you cope with those nerves?
Do you know what? I think most of my gigs that I do now, I don't really get nervous. And if I do get nervous, I get kind of excited because it means something. And those are the moments where you know that you're kind of going in the right
Yeah,
direction. Because I've performed so many times that sometimes, it's in like restaurants or bars or charity balls, events, galas, all these kind of things that I performed at schools, I've done schools. People are there because they're just there to enjoy. Do you know what I mean? And if it is the case where it is that, typically I don't get nervous because if I enjoy, you enjoy.
yeah,
So there's never really any nerves when it comes to like people watching me perform. However, if it is more of like an industry type of thing and something's riding on it, there is a little bit more nerves there than there would be if I was just performing my songs to people. So yeah, I would say like I've done quite a few like industry performance events, and sometimes I'm like, oh, if this goes well, you never know what could happen. So there is always that added pressure, but then that also fuels the fire. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like I have to do well.
Yeah.
It's obviously every gig is your best gig, it has to be, but there is that added pressure of like, we're not music artists aren't just doing it for fun most of the time. We want to progress. We don't want to just, I mean, there is people out there that just do music and they don't care about, where they get to, but I do see myself like getting myself out there, whether it be in music or be in acting or anything like that. Like I just love it so much.
Yeah.
So there is always that like added pressure.
Yeah.
But always like I guess how you deal with it is acting like for me, is acting like I'm not. That's because I learned that in acting. I guess different people have different perceptions of that, don't they? Like some people say, like, don't ignore nerves. You know what I mean? Like, but for me, act like you're not nervous because in a business that I've worked in for quite a few years now, for me, most of the time you can't afford to be nervous because you spent enough time making the music, enough time singing the songs, enough time performing at 400 bars and restaurants that if you let the nerves eat you up for a big performance that could change your life, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, what are we doing?
No, most definitely. Speaking about the UK, particularly, I know the UK scene is very hot, I think, at the moment, and is very down with the king, with the kids, as I say, with the
like that better.
yeah. Well,
yourself being the king.
New sayings here on the show. but I mean, do you think it's very competitive at the moment? Do you think, or do you think it's more inclusive, or?
I think definitely music's always been inclusive. I think obviously different genres kind of have their people who sit within those, but I do think as far as that being inclusive, music is always bigger than the artist. So I do think music has always been inclusive, but I do think there are obviously spaces now where people feel more seen.
Yeah.
Especially with like obviously I've worked with youth music quite a few times now, and they are a massive advocate for making music more accessible to people with disabilities or just people who don't have the chance to make music. So I think we are in a space now where it is definitely steering in the direction to be more inclusive, which is amazing. And youth music, the work that they do is incredible, allowing artists who don't have the financial means to make music or don't come from a place where it's acceptable to kind of be yourself or be creative. But yeah, I do think it's a great time to be making music, but it is very competitive because as much as it's hard to make music, it's also really easy for people to make music now. You don't have to. I recently watched a movie and it was all about the music industry. It's got the guy from, what's his name? Oh my God, that's going to annoy me. When you've got something on the tip of your tongue. It's all about Bob Dylan, basically. The guy who plays it, he's a big actor. He was in the new Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. But yeah, basically music back in the 70s, 60s, it was an entirely different thing. Whereas now it's so easy to make a beat. You can sit on a computer. It doesn't mean it's going to be a good beat, but you can sit in front of a computer for 30 minutes, find a bass guitar, keys, trumpet, saxophone, any musical sound you want. And you can even find vocal stems now that are already pre-recorded, and you could make an entire song in an hour. Whereas like in the 60s, 70s, you had to like plug everything in, play live, practice, rehearse the song before you recorded. There was no like, you can see my microphone here. There's no like, sing the song, didn't like that take, back. You had to literally rewind the tape, redo it. Like, whereas now you just Control Alt Delete. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
definitely easier to make music. I think that makes it more competitive.
No, I agree. I agree. And I get as well on that point is to try and as well stand out. Saying that, look at me,
Yeah,
type thing, like check my music out, type thing. Because there's a lot of people who are probably doing the same as you, and it depends on the algorithms as well, and how rich people get with music as well. And I guess at the moment it's working for your benefit. I think you're doing a fantastic job, and I hope you keep up with it for many
me
more
too.
months to come. And I hope you keep smashing it as well. But there's a lot of that going on as well in this crazy world.
Yeah, social media is me personally, didn't have to have social media, I wouldn't have it. I would browse it every now and then just so I wasn't so like out of touch with the world
Yeah.
because there are so much informative videos out there that I learn things I'd never know. Do you know what I mean? And it's amazing for that. But I do think comparison kills creativity. So that is one thing I don't like about social media is, you can look at another artist who's got 50,000 followers and is booking gigs left, right, and center, and you're like, why aren't I there? We're the
Yeah.
same age, this, that, the other. But if you spend so much time thinking about that, then it's wasted time that you could have been doing something about it. Do you know what I mean? Um, but yeah, and that's kind of one of the sad things about music. It you always will compare yourself to people because it's natural.
Yeah.
But social media is so easy to compare yourself to people because the algorithm brings like-minded people to your page. Do you know what I mean? So it's naturally, and that's why I think sometimes it can be a bit of the devil because it is subconsciously, consciously putting these people in front of you. You know
Yes.
what I mean?
Well, on that point as well, I have to say the way I came across you was you came up my profile. So I was scrolling on Instagram, and I think it was an advert from yourself came on
Hey,
my
that's good news.
on my
The ads
newsfeed.
work, guys. The ads
Yeah,
work.
yeah. But it was interesting because I thought this is very good. I just recently cleared my browsing history on Instagram, so I did
Right.
a reset and I was scrolling through some of the people I follow, and the next thing I saw your advert come up, and that's when I think it was one of your teasers of one of your songs. I could be wrong. I can't
Probably,
remember,
yeah.
but it was something like that anyway, and it caught my eye, and it was very eye catchy in a good
Love
sense,
that.
and hence why I reached out and got you on the show this evening, which I thank you for accepting, of course. And I know you want to go in a few moments, and I will ask you a
No, it's
quick,
all right.
quick.
We can stay for another 5-10 minutes
Yeah,
if you're good.
yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I'm good. I'm good. I want to know. You mentioned it briefly off the air. Again, this is an off-the-cuff conversation. Again, I did not tell my guests this beforehand, and I don't script a show. And people say, yes, I'm like the Dwayne Johnson of the world, but that's
Not
that's
Dwayne Johnson, The
that's
Rock.
that's their impression. But but I want to know. So you checked out this channel, obviously. What did you think about this channel? And I hope I lived up to your expectations so far in the very short time we've had this conversation, and hopefully chit chat, and hopefully we get to chat again in the near
Of
future.
course. Yeah, of course. I think what you're doing is great. And I think you should keep doing exactly what you're doing. This is a reflection of you and what you love. So I am never one to give any feedback on that. Just kind of appreciate that you have the time and the space to dedicate something that you have as a passion
Yeah.
and see it through because so many people have all these great ideas and don't do anything about it.
Mm.
And they go, oh, I'd love to have a podcast. It's there. You can do it if you want to do it and you're actively doing it. So big shout out to yourself for that because it's not easy, reaching out, emailing back and forth, getting people on the show, building yourself. And you're doing exactly that. So just keep doing exactly what you're doing.
Well, thank you.
100%.
Well, thank you very much. But did you see any particular clips or videos or anything like that on this channel when you
And
briefly
I've seen
looked?
the one with the is it does she have an American accent?
Oh yes, yes. Was
I
it
watched it.
Christy Olsen? Was that who?
Yeah,
Yes,
I think
yes,
it's her.
yes.
Yeah, she seems fun. I watched.
Third time on this show. Yeah, she's a
Yeah,
lot of
oh,
fun. She's a lot of
yeah,
fun.
she seemed a lot of fun. I watched her
Yeah,
clips.
yeah,
She's like a vibe. So I
yeah.
was like, yeah, because obviously I was like, and didn't not look at the male ones. But I am a girl's girl, so I did just the girly ones, the girly pops. But yeah, she seemed like a vibe. So, but there is so much talent in Manchester, you know, like it'd be especially if you're interviewing predominantly music people, I would say like if you not that you asked, but if you wanted a word of
I'm
advice,
open to your suggestions.
yeah, definitely try and attend some of these events that happen in Manchester because there's so many people that would be 100% down to just get on your show and, you know, like chat away to you and yeah, I guess just be within it as well, you know, be at the events and stuff because that's how I've got to know quite a few people within the Manchester scene because there's so many music artists in Manchester, but you don't really hear of a lot of them.
Yes.
So I think it's just if you're looking for more people, definitely, obviously, because I go to all these events, because I either know someone performing or I'm performing or I'm hosting or whatever. But there's so many people in Manchester doing music. They just need a little bit of a platform. So, and that's what you've created. So definitely.
Yes, most definitely. That's what I try to do, bring on emerging talents like yourself onto this show tonight, and you know, it's been a pleasure, and I will definitely take you up on that offer to get out and about in the Manchester scene.
There's another Pirate Studios event happening. I can't say too much because it's still in the works, but it is going to be this month. I will be hosting that, and it will be all different people from Manchester doing music. So great place for you to network if you want to come along. There'll be loads of music artists there, which I'm sure will be happy to jump on a call with you. Yeah, I know quite a few people that performed last time are coming back. So definitely, if you're free, then I'll shoot you the date. Can't say it online. But I'll shoot you the date.
I love it. Good teaser.
Come along 100%. Because even if you don't make any connections, that's just a good night.
And it doesn't matter. It's about networking and having a good night, isn't it? Really, you know, doing a bit of networking in between.
Good vibes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I agree with that. And as well, we got to mention before we let you go your social media and where they can actually, if they can, you know, get your EP because I didn't give you the platform before to say that. So over to you. And as well, if anything else you would like to mention, because I've not mentioned which you think is very important to get off your chest, then as well, this is the time to say so.
Anything important to get off my chest? Don't give me that floor out here. Got loads of things I could talk about. No, yeah, if you want to listen to the music, it is everywhere. Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, you name it, on there. You can go on my website, have a little browse if you want to know a little bit more about me, about my bio. There's loads of spiel about me and all the great things that I've done. So you can have a little read through that. Just www.livvyk.co.uk. And you can find that it's also linked on my Instagram page under Livvy K. Same on TikTok, Livvy K official. Same on everywhere, it's Livvy K. If you type Livvy K in, more often than not, you will find me. There's not many Livvy Ks out there, thankfully. So yeah, go and have a little look at all of that. And yeah, if you're watching, then I hope you enjoy the music. Got more coming along, hopefully very soon. And yeah, summer's around the corner, so pressure's on. Summer banger, Edward. That's what we need. Summer banger.
Yes, and hopefully you can juice one up for us.
Well, I've got about 2 in the works at the moment, so
exciting.
Fingers crossed we should have something by the summer.
Yes, well, we look forward to that. And again, you can find my guests on all platforms. Livvy K, you just Google that. It will come up with you on Google, so there's only one of you, so make sure you check her out. Check out the music.
As far as I know, there's only one of me.
Yeah, there is. Because when I Google Livvy K comes up, Mooties artist. And
if there's two, I'd love to know where she is because she could give me a hand.
Yeah. but it's just you. It's only you because when I Googled you, it comes up just you only. It comes up music artist / presenter / content creator. So it's all over Google. So you are the one and only Livvy K, to our knowledge. So take it while you can.
Quite literally the one and the only.
Yeah, which is good. Which is good. Yeah, the one and only. Yeah, that should be a future track, something like that.
I was actually about to say that. I was like, why is it sounding like my next EP title?
Well,
the one and only.
If that is the case, then make sure to say it was made here. The title was made right here on the show.
Don't worry, I'm always going to credit.
No, you don't require me to say that you got the inspiration from Liquid Note channel.
This can be the cover. I'll take a screenshot of it right now.
Funny. funny. But no, it's been an absolute delight having you on the show tonight, and I really do appreciate your time because you are a busy person, you know, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. I'm guessing, are you now back in Manchester now at the moment?
I am. I'm back in Manchester. I'm in London over the next couple of days after Sunday. Gigging Saturday, gigging Sunday, back in London Monday, Tuesday, and then back to Manchester, here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
Like to keep it nice and busy, you
Yeah,
know.
absolutely.
Don't like to sit still for too long.
No, absolutely. But it's good to be out and about and being engaging while you can, and hopefully, you know, we might see you on a few other, you know, publications in the near future. So you never know where Livvy K may pop up in the
That's
near
exactly.
future.
You need to get to work.
Yeah. Right. Well, it's been an absolute honour and a pleasure to be on the show, and I hope you will come back on the show again when
Of
you've
course.
got new things you want to talk about or want to get something off your chest. Because you said a minute ago you have plenty of things to talk about, so we'll give you the floor.
I could talk all day.
Yeah.
You don't want me on here again.
No, never. But if you enjoyed the episode with my guest, Livvy K, make sure to smash the like button, share the video around, tell me about Livvy K, about her music, and maybe even if you're a Livvy K fan, being brought to this channel because of Livvy K, then make sure you check out more of my episodes. And if you enjoy my episodes, then make sure to smash the subscribe button because we do have over 306 subscribers as of right now, and even on Instagram I reached over 400 followers on Instagram now, so I'm slowly growing it again. As you mentioned earlier on, and you mentioned about, you know, growing authentically, I think I am doing that very much so, but in a much slower space than you. But as they say, it's never about the running, it's about being slow and steady wins the race.
As long as you're moving forward, that's
Yes.
all that matters.
Yes.
It doesn't matter whether you're running, walking, crawling, as long as the direction is forward.
Yeah.
That's what matters.
And that's a good way to leave on as well. So thank you for that, Livvy K. And, we look forward to seeing what you're doing in the near future. And make sure you check out her shows if you're in the area where she's performing. If not, then you can be squared. And until the next episode, enjoy the rest of your evening, whenever it may be. I hope we'll see you again in the near future.